What are you drinking on?
Nothing except not alcohol.
Ah, see, I'm back to alcohol. At least, in moderation.
That's the best way to do it.
I went it had to be like 4 months or something like that without it. And I mean, that was fine. It was not an issue, but uh, man, stress is a pain. I need to move over. Stress just, I mean, it kind of gets you, especially when you, I don't know, me as like an adult, as like a single parent, I don't have a lot of outlets, especially now my work that I'm doing. It's real easy just to wander over to my desk and be working at 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, it's real easy. And especially if somebody calls or asks you to do something, it's just it's just normal. And there's junk. Hold on, I gotta switch this to a better format. There we go. Wait,
There we go.
how do I? Is this even? There, that's even.
Hey, what's
I don't
up?
want anyone taking all the
Oh
screen time.
yeah, look at this.
Renegades
Look
here,
at these
and
sexy
we did it. Good to see you guys
Just trying to get my. Well, are we live right now?
Yeah.
already.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
you're
Hey, what's up?
right.
Sorry, you were
Don't
seeing the
say
clip,
anything
the
you
behind the
don't
scenes
It's
action.
okay. My channel's dead anyway. We can cuss all we want.
Yeah, perfect. I'm not too worried.
Or close to dead.
Move to another.
It's going to be interesting. I'm going to try to get back into it without a garage and with a brand new car that I really don't want to touch that much.
Working on cars is the worst thing ever. It just sucks.
I
Yeah.
saw that ride.
Well, nobody really talks about it. Like YouTube's hard enough in general, but you take like something like what you do, Junk, and electronics work, which is a pain anyway, or working on cars or handyman stuff like Neil's doing or was doing there for quite some time, and then go, oh, okay, I'm gonna film this and edit it. And
Oh, it's a
all
huge
this
fuck
other.
around.
It takes a regular thing that might take 2 hours and turns it into like a 6, 8 hour ordeal.
That's
Dano's toolbox. Okay, real quick.
Wait, is he alive? Is that him or is that?
Can we
his,
talk about the Dano's toolbox hack of 20? Like, I think Russian hackers may have got into his account because every single YouTuber, like tool guy, Dick,
yeah.
got taken down. It's like, guys, Dano got hacked. Like, everybody's posting it.
I have to
that's my
say,
name, so I know it's him.
I legit like just blocked everyone that there's a few people that got hacked.
Oh yeah, I was on the fence. I'm like, Dano, he's worked hard for that fucking Instagram following, and I waited and I waited, and then all of a sudden this motherfucker's messaging me and this and that. I'm like, I said, like, seriously, who do you think you are? Like, Dan's like a nice older guy who just likes to come and fuck around and talk about tools, and you're gonna hack him. Like, I didn't even think about it. Me Again Dave messaged me. He's like, hey, what'd you see about Dan's last post? Something about Bitcoin? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I know he likes to gamble. Maybe he made a couple of some risky maneuvers.
See, that's the thing with Dano's. You can imagine he could go down that path.
Exactly. Well, that was my thought, right?
Well, no, the funny thing is Dano actually was. I'd have to pull up my history. He's been sending me because I was real big into crypto. I made I say a lot of money. IRS, I'm lying. I made a decent amount of money last year on crypto. And so he's been sending me stuff periodically about how the crypto markets are doing and stuff. So when I got his original message and it said like, oh, I made $10,000 on Bitcoin, whatever. I mean, I glanced at it and I was like, all right, good for you, bro.
I messaged him back. I'm like, dude, that's fucking sweet. Yeah.
It was around the next one where it was asking me to like get the email to log into the account where I was like, what's my name?
Exactly.
Like, please help me.
Yeah, I was doing some quizzing.
It was ridiculous though. But then I mean, I guess like I don't know who to reach out to. You can't reach out to Dano. Like I guess I could have commented on a YouTube video.
That's what I did. I messaged him on YouTube. I'm like, dude, just FYI, just want to make sure you got hacked, right? He's like, oh yeah, big time. And then there was comments on that YouTube comments like, yeah, fuck, they got me too, Dano. Like, oh shit, like everybody's getting hacked.
Yeah. Don't ever click links or attachments or photos
Exactly.
or I don't even know what does it anymore. Like I'll get
Everything.
phone calls, I'll get weird messages. The funny thing was, Amazon's a big target for this, right? So like one day I get this really weird email, right? So I'm like looking at it and it says it's from Amazon. It's like your account, something, something. You need to click here. And I'm like,
Nope.
and it looked pretty legit. I mean, I see this
yeah.
all day. So I'm like, hold on, like let me get a hold of somebody. So I called up IT and I'm like, what's wrong with my account? And they're like, oh no, that's a phishing email. It's been happening a lot. Like you didn't click it, did you? And I'm like, no. They're like, yeah, just delete it. I'm like, oh, like they somehow got into our internal email system.
I don't know if you have older parents, but like I don't know how. My mom is 67, my dad's 66, not tech savvy people at all. I don't know how they're not getting hacked every single fucking day. Because some of these scams are getting pretty convincing.
Yeah. The new one is, I guess it'll like I don't know how, but they can like completely copy a web address now and like duplicate it to where it looks right, but it sends you somewhere else. And I've heard about that now, which that's scary as hell, right? You're putting in your credit. Remember in the 90s when people were like, put my credit card information into a website? Are you crazy?
I was so sketched about that. Now it's like, fuck, I don't even know where it is anymore. The computer takes care of that.
My bank, I think it was my bank. It was one of them. And I called them up and they wanted, and like, I called them. So, I mean, it seems legit, but they wanted like everything. Not my last four. They wanted my whole social address, like literally everything. And I'm like, wait a minute, like this is throwing up some red flags. Why should you need all this? And they're like, this is how we do it now. And I'm like, I want to talk to somebody else. You have my email. Send me an email. Oh, that's what it was. Like like to get into your account, right? They send you a verification code.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're gonna send you an email and you tell us that verification code. And it literally says, like, do not share this with anyone. And I'm like, it should say except when we ask for it. Like I didn't know. It was sketched out.
Oh, I hear you, man.
So Brad, I don't know if he's going to make it. Dan said he was going to show up as of a couple hours ago.
Dan the bagel man.
Dan the sexy bagel man. Yeah, I messaged him. I said, "Are you coming on?" He said, "Man, you know, Dan, you can never nail him down. The guy's
I mean, he might.
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Guns blazing, man.
Oh yeah, he comes out swinging. What the fuck have you guys been up to? Haven't it's been a while. You still alive?
Long time.
We need to start with Neil. I firmly believe that because I think he's had probably one of the biggest changes.
What are you up to, Neil? You punk ass bitch.
Gay stuff.
Nice. So same as usual.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I just kind of been hanging out with the kids and wife a lot more, and I got this nice job now, salary job, and
doing what?
I'm turning 36 this year, which isn't old, but like I've just been, figuring out my next moves and stuff.
What do you do now? I actually don't even know what you do. Are you allowed to say?
I still work maintenance. I work building maintenance for like a real estate company. So I take care of all their offices and stuff. Nice. They're the biggest private real estate company in the country.
Holy shit.
That's either got to be...
And third biggest overall.
Is it CBRE or C&W?
It's I work for Howard Hanna.
I've never even heard of them.
Smoke dope with Howard Hanna. Or wait, no, that's John Hopkins.
But no, it's a good job, and I started off doing a lot of their maintenance, and then they wanted a second guy, so I hired a buddy I worked with at my old place.
Was it the weekend?
and no, not him. I've tried to reach out to him a few times. I don't know. He disappeared.
Off the grid.
And then so now really my job is like all the people who run the company, I go to their houses and do whatever they need me to do.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that sounds like the cake side of things then.
Better than doing shitter stuff, I'll tell you that. So do you ever like get called like, hey Neil, don't ask a lot of questions. I just need you to come pick up this suitcase and get the fuck out of here. Or is it just, like, oh, change this light bulb?
Sometimes I feel like that might happen, But,
oh yeah, you're waiting for it.
But no,
Neil, that's a lot of cocaine. Just keep driving.
I did that, and then like I got really fat, so then I started exercising and eating healthy, and just I don't know, man.
Nice. Well, that's pretty sweet.
I hit a midlife crisis at 35.
Yes, I get it, buddy. I get it.
But you got an elliptical and not like a Corvette, though.
Well, that motherfucker came. Big thing is I bought a new house, moved the family, so I haven't really had I got my workbench now set up. I don't have room to really film yet, and but I'll get back into it. I want to.
It's so much work, man. I'm telling you, just crazy amounts of work. But I hear you. I get you.
So, Joe, you're what? You left the dealership, didn't you?
I am officially unemployed as of last Friday. Yeah, I left my job. So I am, I had some health issue. Kind of same as Neil. I had a midlife crisis, actually, which is hilarious. And I was just having some issues at the dealership. My shoulders are fucked. My back is fucked. I'm 31 years old. I've been turning wrenches in some form since I was 17 years old, in hard fucking shit, manual labor jobs. And I just said, fuck it. And I said, hey, I need some, I was down to part-time. I was working 4 days a week. And then we got bought by a auto group, which I don't know, you guys aren't in this industry, but anybody who is familiar, an auto group is a nightmare. I mean, it's a $1 billion corporation. We were a super, super small dealership. So it was a lot of old used vehicles coming in, old shit that I just I like to work on Subarus. They're easy to work on. That's why I took the job. So yeah, so I ended up taking off from there, and I don't know. It's crazy.
That's weird.
Right?
I mean, I'm 38. I'm turning 39 next month. And I don't know, maybe mine's late. I always have been behind the curve, but I don't feel like I'm in one yet. I mean, I did just buy a new car, which I swore to myself I would never do. That was a combination of things, I guess. I had the Fiesta, and this shows you how stupid I am and how I'm not thinking clearly.
We already know that, but
yeah, we already know I rebuilt the motor, right? From the head gasket, timing belt, water pump, everything. I had new alternator,
shitload of money into this thing. Oh, the
belt,
hours.
Everything was perfect as far as mechanically, it was sound. I just put new tires on it with a lifetime warranty, and then I traded that damn thing in and got next to nothing for it.
Yeah.
And bought a new car, which now I have payments every month.
At least vehicles are dirt cheap right now.
Are they?
No, they're the most expensive I've ever seen. It's ridiculous right now.
Well, I know mine. I got lucky. Well, I'm gonna say lucky. I mean, I got screwed, but I got screwed less than the average person. Guy I know was actually selling for whatever reason. He left maintenance. He left his maintenance job and went to sell cars. So he was down there selling. I was already on the fence on my own. We started talking, and he's like, yeah, we're marking these things up $2,000, $4,000, $6,000 right now because they can't put them on the lot. He said, if you come down here and seriously talk to me about doing it, he goes, I'll have him take the markup off of it completely.
Yeah. Right now, so I think somebody said in the chat, but new is actually, for the first time ever, a better deal than used.
Yeah.
Because you're buying something, I was looking at a GMC truck, 2017. We got it in for a trade. They're selling it for $40,000. It has 80,000 kilometers. So that math says I could have bought this truck in 2017. I could have driven it for 80,000 kilometers, and sold it for more than I paid for it.
Yeah.
Like, it is unbelievable. So you may as well buy something fucking new because you're already getting screwed.
Yeah.
I actually last year, right around this time, I think, I bought my wife the Kia Telluride, a brand new one.
The sex machine.
And it was like right before. I mean, those things now are $10,000 overpriced.
It's crazy.
Brand
and
new.
People are paying it. I don't know. People like, I don't get it.
We just got in, like, we bought it for exactly what they were.
Yeah.
You know, originally.
Same thing. We bought our car in 2010 or not 2010, 2010 or no, 2021. Sorry. And yeah, it was the same thing. We could probably sell it for what we paid for it, but then it's like, what the fuck do you buy? Like a diesel truck right now is 330,000 Canadian dollars, just about. Like, it's fucking insane. You can buy a house. It's not quite that much, but it's insane.
They're marking them up. The big trucks, 10 and 20K.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever buy a new truck again. I bought that Mitsubishi truck, man. That thing fucking goes.
Fuck yeah, it does.
Wait, you got a Mitsubishi what?
Raider. It's a 2007.
Oakland Raider. That was the peak of automotive technology. Was 2007. I don't care what anybody says. Anything after that, we're flexing. We're dancing in the end zone. You know what I mean?
I got that in the V8 Borrego, and at this point, I'm just gonna drive the Borrego until my kids can drive it.
That thing is fucking just sick. V8 motor, 200 horsepower, maybe 195.
337.
Okay. If she ever runs on all 8. You know what I'm saying?
It's got some balls. That thing runs good, man. Seriously.
Actually, the guy that replaced me was working at a Kia Hyundai, I don't know, Korean dealership, and he was talking about their V8s. He's like, they're actually pretty good. You know, for what they are, they're pretty damn good.
It's the same engine that Genesis, that Hyundai.
Oh yeah.
It's the same thing that they're putting in those.
The front end looks all melted.
Mm-hmm.
I get you. If she's gonna come back, Bronco, boom. Handsome Blazer deal. Yeah, that Blazer was a disgrace.
Well, see, I bought one of not a Blazer, but I bought a disgrace. I mean, in my eyes, I don't follow trends and I don't look at the obvious problems, obviously. But I bought the Eclipse crossover. They call it the Eclipse Cross, but it's an SUV looking.
The Mitsubishi.
I've seen this. I like the look.
Yeah, those are good cars, man. I love my Mitsu. Those things are fucking dope.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, it's not bad. I do wish the all-wheel drive was like selectable because the gas mileage isn't, as good as it could be.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, it's got enough power to be fun. It's got the four-wheel drive. I haven't had any issues yet, even in snow. And, for the price, you get a bunch of. I bought like a mid-range trim level. I didn't go full maxed out, but it's not bad for what I paid for it. The car payment and everything. I'm working some other deals and stuff. I have that house of mine that I'm not living in, and I'm probably going to sell that hopefully within the next couple of months. And I could theoretically pay that car off instantly.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm bouncing things around, but it's a nice car. I wish I had more options in color because it was like I bought the damn thing. It's like 4 hours away from me in Louisville, Kentucky, is the area where it was at. And I basically bought this thing over the phone with everything except actually putting down the down payment. It was a done deal when I walked down there. I was at the dealership for, I think, 2.5 hours, maybe a little longer, because I took a breakfast break in the middle.
That's not bad.
In and out. I bought a brand new car online, sight unseen, basically. And they have a few better colors that I might have chosen, like a blue, but you just can't get them. They were like, man, if you want blue, you could be waiting a month, 2 months, 3 months. We don't know. They send us what they give us, and we take it.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, the same thing. Like Subaru, we cannot keep vehicles on the lot. So yeah, they were just bringing the used stuff in. And I think too, there is some legislation. I know there is in Canada where you can only mark up a new vehicle so much. but those laws don't apply to used vehicles. And I think that's why the used vehicles is just as much as the new stuff right now. And I think they're almost using it to scare people into buying a new vehicle, because then, hey, you go onto a Ford lot and it's like, well, why buy this old piece of shit Dodge out here for the same price as this brand new Ford? And then it gets them in, gets them servicing, builds the whatever brand loyalty. But
right. Well, and you got to think about the warranty too.
yeah,
Most
exactly.
Warranties don't transfer. You buy something that's 2 years old, you're screwing yourself out of 3 years of warranty in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it was probably I've looked around, and of course they say it's like the worst time to buy a new vehicle. They literally are screaming that from the mountaintops. But I mean, I was riding around in some 10-plus-year-old stuff. I got kids, so I figured if I'm going to roll them around in something that's probably going to take a hit,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they say about how I buy a house, and it's like buy high, sell high. It doesn't matter. It all works out in the end.
In 20 years, it ain't gonna matter. All these property values are gonna go up. It's just like the stock market. It'll take a dip or it'll rise, but it's still on a steady, gradual uptick until we figure out, how to have a cashless society or something. Speaking about money, though, something that I thought was really interesting. I was listening to like a radio thing on my trial of Sirius XM that came with my car. And they were talking about the Feds trying to move forward with creating like a digital dollar, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I heard this, and I'm listening to these people talk, and they're talking about the roadblocks and the trials that they're going to face and the problems they're going to have to overcome. And I'm scratching my fucking head. And I'm going, what? Don't we already have digital dollars?
Exactly.
Like my company pays me in a wire transfer. No money changes hands. I pay bills and subscriptions and whatever else I do, the grocery store. I do all this without changing a note.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Like, what's the difference between that and this digital dollar? I just don't get it.
They just need something with mystique they can, take over the crypto market with. You know what I mean? Because that's what they want to do. They want to ban it.
That. They just did a thing where, like, if you have coins, some of them will pay you interest to hold them. They call it staking and different things for different coins, but it's like a reward for not just getting rid of it or trying to take like a short gain. So you can get interest, and some of them are crazy high. Some of them are as high as 10%, if not more. But they just passed a legislation, unless it gets repealed, that I know of, and they say that they literally can't provide interest anymore after a certain date, like at all. Period. They tried to classify it as some kind of I don't even know. I can't even quote it, but some kind of capital asset that they can't basically give interest on because it doesn't fit their model of investment or whatever the hell they justified it with. But so that's going to kill a lot of it, because there's a lot of people who like those because you can just kind of buy it, and no matter what it does, at least you're still sort of moving up in the amount of coins that you're getting, even if the value doesn't rise.
Eventually, I guess the what were you saying about that dollar? The
digital dollar.
That'll be like the government's counter to crypto.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're trying to, right? Because there's money to be made. It's just like gambling. Because like cryptocurrency, I've been fucking around with it. Is just fancy gambling. That's what I've been calling it. And the government legalized gambling. I mean, we know the risks associated with that, but they're the ones that are collecting the money for it, and I'm sure they're going to do the same thing with crypto. It's a matter of time.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, exactly.
Money to be made, baby.
Just like marijuana, they had to figure out a way to tax it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and even that, they'll take it from you. Like it's still federally illegal at the moment, so there's like legitimate businesses getting raided and stuff. It's just ridiculous. Speaking of raids, what the hell is going on in the land of the North? I haven't even had the mind state to like keep it up, and then I'm like, oh, I'll talk to Junk about that on
In
the live.
Canada?
And then the next thing there's someone saying that Putin started World War III. But besides that, what's going on in Canada? I'm hearing that you guys turned into like some kind of dictatorship overnight.
Well, no, I mean, I think a lot of that is hype, but like the government in Canada is very progressive, and there's a big alienation. I mean, it's a similar, north south you guys have, but the west, the provinces that are natural resource driven, so the oil, natural gas, logging, coal, whatever. Basically, the other provinces that are against that, because the majority of Canadians, roughly 50% of them, are tree hugging granola hippies. So the West is kind of feeling alienated because they're using our natural resources and collecting taxes and income off of that, and then they're turning around and giving it to other provinces to fund other things, and those provinces are actively trying to hinder, our provinces from producing oil, natural gas, mining, because it's not environmentally friendly. So there's been a bit of that tension. Yeah, exactly. That tension's been building up for a long time. And the biggest problem is the vaccine mandate. So they have, so for me to go into a gym, I have a thing on my phone, I can show you actually, that you have to scan, and it shows if you're vaccinated or not. I don't know if you guys have that, but they'll cover that, but there you go. So anytime that I go into a gym, movie theater, anything like that, I have to bring this and scan it.
That's fucked up.
It's fucked up. It is fucked up. When that came out, that was my line in the sand. So the
gyms, but what about like grocery stores,
grocery stores? No. Gas stations? No. So they anything that's considered an essential service, you don't have to have this. But anything non-essential, so for going out for dinner, if I want to go out for dinner, I have to be vaccinated, basically. So everybody's saying that, like, hey, like what are we doing here? This is and the problem is the rest of North America is starting to move on. The laws are getting relaxed, and Canada is continuing to increase them. And we're saying, the country is like 90% vaccinated. There's not much more we can do.
Like a fucking Band-Aid, you just rip it off.
Exactly. How much longer are we gonna stay like this in this holding period? Everybody's pissed off. So then eventually, the blue collar workers that are getting fucked hard by this and not really, getting, they're wanting to go and work and make money, and these fucking granola hippies are sitting there and listen, we gotta do this and do that. Like, there's no pain-free way forward, guys. Like, let's pull the Band-Aid off. Let's move forward. If you want to get vaccinated. And then, the government is scared because they just, like, the government that's in place right now didn't actually win the popular vote. Like, the majority of the country actually hates the government, but the right provinces, I'm sure you guys are dealing with the same thing, the right provinces and whatever, they managed to get enough votes in order for them to get in. So there's that. It's bad times in Canada right now. A lot of this is the most divided I've ever seen the country ever in my life.
Well, down here too, but
yeah.
I want to say, I hope Ukraine fucking kills a bunch of Russians.
Me too.
I hear they're
It's
doing
awful.
a pretty good job. That's fucked up. That's That's unbelievable.
It's the worst
everything
thing
they've known or
holy shit
done.
Holy shit!
He made it.
Santa Claus in his off season here.
Yeah, I didn't. It's kind of why I felt bad at coming late, because I jump in and I ruin everything.
Absolutely not.
Go ahead, Neil. Neil was talking about Ukraine.
All I was gonna say is, you want to fuck Russia, we should start, making our own fuel again, open up the pipeline.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's been, I don't know about you, Brad. Are you guys just drill down in Texas right now? People are just fucking loving this.
I really don't know. I haven't been in contact with any of my oil field boys.
Oh, those boys right now are just all buying new trucks, baby. Give me that Raptor. It's extra leather heated seats, baby.
Oh, what am I doing? I'm hitting buttons. I'm ruining everything. I took Brad off.
What the hell?
They got hotkeys now. I'm not used to this new
Stream Deck here.
I was trying to type to Dewey, and it
just booted me right out of there, man. Shit.
Yeah,
Jump, what's this above your head? What? It looks like a fancy loading. Yeah.
Boom. Those are called nano leaves.
It looks like a floppy dildo.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's an LED light up dildo. And that's the wife's computer in the background. I had to buy that for work tax purposes.
I just want to mention, you guys know Brad is a huge TikTok star. He has an amazing video where it has so many views, and because of his beautiful mug, all it is him staring into a camera.
Yeah, that's I made it big. It's staring off into nothingness.
How many views?
You ever see that movie American Beauty when he records the leaf floating?
Okay.
It almost has that magic to it.
Didn't he have a balloon that followed him around too?
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
So Brad's TikTok famous now, or am I the only person who's not gone on TikTok and got famous yet, or what?
You know what I like about TikTok is it's easy. That's all there is to it.
Short little.
I'm not even on TikTok. I don't even know.
I was on it for a minute and I got rid of it, and now I have to get it back again so I can go look at Brad.
I'll tell you what. When I first got on there, it was pretty ridiculous because I guess the algorithm doesn't know you yet, so all you see is teenage girls shaking their ass and.
Oh no!
But once you watch it a little bit, just like YouTube, you train your algorithm, then you start getting the shit that you actually want to see.
Like construction and blue collar shit.
Yeah, I hear there's a lot of mechanics on there and things like that.
The worst.
I've stayed away from them.
Probably a good move.
I'll be honest. There's a good group of them that like they're pretty friendly with each other. They're not like the YouTube
tools.
Fucking I don't even know what you call it.
I'm not a mechanic anymore, so I can say these things. What fucking mechanics are all fucked in the head? Am I right or what?
I mean, you got to be to take a job buying your own tools and then working on vehicles where you have no space to do anything.
No, the dumbest fucking thing ever. Let me just saw my arm off. I got to change this oil filter. It's fucking retarded.
It's kind of like plumbing, you know.
You know what repair I have to do?
What?
Fucking clutch fan again.
On your Dodge, let me guess.
No, I sold the Dodge a while back. It's on my dad's Ford that I've been driving.
Oh yeah. Clutch fan. Now, Brad, the last time did you cheap out and go on the Amazon and get the cheapest fucking fan that you could possibly get and slam that in there, or did you get an OE part?
I think I went to AutoZone and got the cheapest fan I could find.
That's very good. $60. Just go to the fucking dealership, you cheap bastard, and get a fucking proper part in there.
Shit, I might just so I don't have to do it.
Yeah, that's Fords barely work with OEM parts, let alone you're gonna start throwing Chinese garbage in there.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. If I didn't get a good deal on it and the situation that it was, I wouldn't have bought a Ford.
Fords are shit, right? They're pretty bad.
I used to not think so, but after I drove that Dodge for so long, they kind of are.
Yeah, Dodges are like they're made of paper mache and toothpaste, but you know that going in. That's why they're 10 grand
I got
cheaper.
rid of mine. It was a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, no, they'll disintegrate. But you gotta.
I drove that Dodge into the dirt, zero maintenance, pretty much as minimal maintenance as you can put. Like I got 10,000 miles on regular old oil on my Ford.
Oh yeah,
imagine what the Dodge is.
You might as well just drain the oil and run it as long as you can.
Yeah, well they leak so bad. What you do is you just top it up. You know.
Yeah, just top it off.
I'm in the middle of an oil change right now. Last 30,000. Right? Just swap that filter up.
I just can't stand working on vehicles anymore.
It's so bad, man. I'm so fucking happy to be done like wrenching on stuff. It is.
I heard that. I heard you said that. I was listening. I was in my shop gluing up a box that didn't go too well. And you said you quit your job. So what are you doing now?
Well, I am going on. Well, actually, so the plan is this is my timing. This is my luck, guys. May of this year, I'm planning on going to Greece. My dad's from there. He hasn't been there in 40 years. I've never been there. I'm 31. So I took some time off of work and I said, Dad, let's go. I want to learn the language. So I've been basically I'm unemployed and I'm learning how to speak Greek and I'm going to the gym and I'm trying to get better physical shape because I'm having a midlife crisis like Neil. And anyway, so we plan all this shit, and then guess what, motherfuckers? World War III, baby. So that's the plan. We're gonna see how things go, and hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, we can put it together. We can make our way over there. But it's been too long. It's time to go experience the culture of the homeland. You know?
Yeah, it'd be freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's small little island. It's so it's off the southern point of Greece in the Aegean Sea. It's called Skopelos, and there's about 4,000 people on the island. My dad's got a little chunk of property there, and I'm thinking about maybe building a little tiny house off-grid living, especially with all this shit going on right now. Go there, get some goats.
Why don't we just do a tool tuber meetup in Greece?
In Greece. Well, hey, you know what? I'm thinking maybe moving there. You know, going there for the winter, getting out of this harsh, brutal bullshit, then come back up here and.
Is it Speedo weather? Like,
no. We're very progressive in Greece. You don't bother messing with the Speedo. You're hanging dong or you're going home.
All right, just
the Americanos can come in here and they can put it on their trousers, but you know the locals, you're going full board.
You guys have any good recommendations for growth pills then?
For boner pills? Man,
I want to be hanging like a horse.
It's so hard to choose. I've been taking them and nothing's happening, but I'm hopeful. You know, I'm hopeful.
You ever see those crazy pills in the gas station?
They don't work. I mean,
I have bought those before as a gag gift in my buddy's car.
It's like
looking at them and I'm like,
the packaging is just the best, rock hard.
Yeah, it's like Rhino Power or something.
It's really awkward when you buy them because you hand it to the clerk and the clerk's just kind of looking at you and you're like, it's for a joke, you know. Yeah.
I bought
you're popping it over the car.
A scammer. They didn't do anything.
No. You guys ever, let's be honest, just between us girls, you guys ever had Cialis or Viagra or anything before? Hands up.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God.
But I'll tell you something. Rock hard weekend, yes. But splitting headache. Am I right? If
all the blood pressure. I don't know, but it would stand to reason.
Big old dong filling up with all that blood, it's draining everything out. You know? Stayed in a tanning booth too long.
Well, they're over the counter now. You can just ask for them, right?
Really?
No.
Here they are. Yeah.
Where do you live specifically? What?
Ohio. Pharmacy. I was just go ask for them.
You guys still don't like if like a certain breeze catches me, I still, you know.
Oh no, I don't need them, but this was actually a few years ago.
Just
you don't need them, but they definitely they enhance some stuff.
I'd be one of those guys that like has to call and be like, yeah, it's been 2 days. It's still
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. You got to wear rough pants. Keeps things at bay.
Well, Matt, I hate to burst your bubble. I had to look it up, but Viagra is not available over the counter in the U.S. You still have to do that awkward doctor's appointment. That's a must.
Are you sure? Or maybe it's not Viagra. It's one of them. They said you could just buy it.
I mean, Google doesn't lie, ever.
Over-the-counter boner pills.
I'm sure you walk into Walmart, some guy would hook you up.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's years there,
though.
Just a low dose of malt.
The other one, there's like the generic. Maybe it's the generic.
So this is a true story. A few years ago, my buddy got divorced. And I think, I don't know, maybe he was about 24 years old. And he's like, he got divorced. I'm like, dude, go to the doctor, get a prescription for these boner pills. Like, you're divorced, man. Just say you're depressed, your dick's not working. You think? So sure enough, he goes to the doctor and tells him the story or whatever. Yeah, okay, sure, we'll give you some pills. And they were called Staxin. And I'll never forget it. It looked like a gum packet. And you pull the bottom out and the top of the package shot out like you were getting a boner. And I just thought it was the fucking clever, like, look at this thing expand. Like, that's going to be you, buddy. I don't know. So those are the ones that we had tried. And we were like, he was divorced, so he wasn't getting any action. So it was like, you know, whatever. Hey, give me a couple of those.
I remember it was somebody at work. I can't remember which guy. When I was in the oil field, I was leaving to get married and go on my honeymoon. And he's like, "Here's 2. Just try it. Just try it."
What's up, Dewey?
What's up? All right, let me flip this the other way.
There you go.
You came in
Came in just in time.
I've been having some technical difficulties tonight.
So, what are your thoughts on over-the-counter boner medication? You think the country is ready for that, or?
My body, my choice.
I mean, it shouldn't be called erectile dysfunction. It should just be called boner medicine.
Pretty much. It says everything it needs to say.
Yeah.
You know what it's for. You know what it's doing.
Hey, babe, go pick me up some boner medication.
I mean, what's the difference between that and picking up tampons and all?
Boner meds are way better.
Double the pleasure, double the fun.
Exactly.
You know, it ain't like you can abuse them. What are they worried about?
They give it to babies for crying out loud.
What?
Yes, look it up. They give Viagra to children.
All right.
It has more uses than popping a boner. It's a vasodilator.
Oh shit, we're getting a medical lesson here. I'm not
wicked side effects.
Well, yeah, anything in the right dosage can have probably multiple different uses. I know Ohio doesn't do off-label, but like Kentucky, I think does, and they have like a prescription methamphetamine that basically you can get to lose weight or something. It's my sister was taking it for a while, and a chick I was dating took it for a while, and I had to find out they ain't bullshitting. It will give you speed like nobody's business. So I mean, if it's not meth, it's like they took one molecule of something out and it's as close as legally possible. It's kind of crazy, but because Kentucky can do off-label uses, they're allowed to market that for weight loss, where apparently no other state will touch it. So I mean, it is Kentucky though, right?
Heck, here in Tennessee, you can buy this Delta 8 and Delta 10. It's basically marijuana, for all I know.
We have that. I saw that the other day, and I was kind of scratching my head.
It's like it's got THC. Isn't that what's illegal?
I think it's like a derivative, though. I did some research. I looked it up, and they say it's a derivative. It doesn't last as long, but it's way stronger.
Is he frozen?
Yep.
Oh, we dropped him. He had enough.
I was like, is he gonna move or what?
They ought to just go ahead and legalize weed, marijuana, THC, all that shit by now.
They just got to find out how to tax it. That's all it is.
Have we seen like a surge of potheads from the legalization of marijuana? I mean, I no more so than they probably were before. It seems a little more commonplace, right? Because like, who is it? Like that comic from SNL, like Pete Davidson, he'll just nonchalantly talk about it. And then, like, that's when it hits me. Like, oh yeah, some places people can just smoke that shit. Like, I remember having to do like back alley stuff to get weed when I was young. And now it's like, yeah, I go to the store and buy it. My brother's got a damn card or whatever. Here it's got to be, you have to have a medical reason. And my buddy's pissed because none of his are on the list yet. So he's like, insomnia's not on there. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Anxiety's not on there. He's like, I'm loaded. I would be a perfect candidate, but they won't give it to me because none of my stuff's on the list.
I hear the one thing though is if you get your medical marijuana card, you can't own firearms.
You can, well, at least here in Ohio. I don't know how other people do it. You cannot buy any more than you currently have. They cannot take what you have from you, but you can't buy anything else. So the idea there would be to try to stock up on everything you hope you're going to need the rest of your life, and then get your card.
What is a person going to do with only 50 guns? I assume that you have, or 40? Low?
7.
Okay. D. Okay, 70. That's not bad.
7. I got the shotgun. I got the handgun. I got a revolver just for fun. I have some rifles.
Welcome to a red state, motherfucker. Here's your starter pack.
Well, it's not even like that. Like, it's almost like it can be currency. Like, there at the height of COVID, me and my buddy from Kentucky were like going in on ammo because like we couldn't find anything. We found like large caches online, but you had to buy like the whole thing. So we went in like halvesies on it and then split it up amongst more friends. And I drove in the height of COVID down to Kentucky. We met halfway and did this ammo transaction in a
back alley swap.
That's fucking hilarious.
Got the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, but now I have ammo I don't even have guns for, just because,
that shit's a better investment than like fuel, though. Am I right or what? Because
it's got more worth in a war than anything.
Holy fuck, man!
Yeah, I sold some AK ammo, and it was still in the middle of COVID, and there was a big ammo shortage, and my buddy had bought something, and he's like, "Man, I just can't find any." I was like, "Oh, you can't." It's like, I got 1,000 rounds just sitting. You want some of it? And he ended up taking, I think, about half of it off of me and I didn't gouge him or anything. I just charged him a little more than what I paid for it by like.
You got to grease them wheels. I
mean, think about it though. Like if something, I mean, look what's going on in Ukraine. So it can happen tomorrow. I mean, they could just start landing ships or trying to land ships.
I don't understand what's even going on in Ukraine.
I don't either.
It's the worst.
It's happening.
Yeah. You know what I heard? And this is what I heard, all right? Either Ukraine or Russia, one of the two, cut off water flow to the other. And that's supposedly like the backstory of why they're all pissed off.
See, like the real reason that Russia they've been pushing, eastward for decades is they want access to the Mediterranean because it's a big shipping route and it gives them access to a lot of countries where they can export their oil. Because you look at Russia and they're almost landlocked because they're a coastal country, but it's all frozen and shitty. So they're trying to actually get some better trade routes to get to the rest of the world, but there's other countries surrounding them. So they're like, fuck it, we'll just they're separatists. We'll just take this area that's right up to the ocean and we'll just peace out. So I don't know. It's gonna be real interesting.
Apparently, Ukraine, like everything that runs out of Russia goes through Ukraine.
Exactly.
And he wants the old USSR back, but if he gets to the Baltics and tries to go there, that's NATO.
And then it's World War III, baby.
I assume the U.S. has got to put their hand in the pot too.
Well,
absolutely.
Here's the thing, though, is if Russia's struggling to take over, I really thought they would do it quickly, but apparently they're struggling pretty bad. So,
see, the thing with this war that's different than any other war is the Russian people don't want it. The Ukrainians don't want it. The rest of the world doesn't want it, apart from maybe China.
It's fucking Putin.
And it's just one man controlling this army. So I think even the soldiers are like, seriously, like, we're going to do this, guys? Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Okay, well, here we go, right? It's a little bit different than, in the 40s or whatever, World War II, where people were literally fighting for their lives. Everybody's like, what the fuck are we doing here? The Russian people don't want this.
That's why they said the U.S. should start producing all their own gases and all that shit again. And we have, I guess we could supply all of Europe too for 100 years.
North America has huge amounts of oil. The problem is you need a country like Russia. They turn a little blind eye to safety. They don't kowtow to all the hipster doofuses. They go in, they drill the fucking wells, and they get her done. But countries like in North America that are civilized, we can't do that. So we got to rely on these militia countries, the Ikistans and Yakistans and Flakistans and Russia, because we can't do it ourselves because everybody's fucking hands are tied. It's the industry is so weird, man. It's fucked.
Well, see, the thing I hate, both times I got laid off from the oil field was because OPEC got their panties in a wad and they want to flood the market anytime they want to. They can flood the market, crash oil prices, and screw over, basically fuck with the whole American economy.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm not a smart man, but I think something should be done about that.
Absolutely. It's ridiculous to me. I live in a country that every city that I've ever lived in has had a fucking pulp mill in it. This country does not make a single sheet of paper. We make pulp that then goes to Japan, that then goes to China and gets packaged up and then shipped back to us and sold in our stores. Why the fuck can't we just do that here instead of, getting a ship involved? What the fuck?
Tax logic.
That's USA too. Like everything's outsourced.
It doesn't make sense.
It's like, so another thing you guys know I review Amazon stuff, a lot of it, but I really fucking hate Amazon now. I mean,
have they gotten worse recently?
Some of the stuff is a necessary evil, but like, I can't support it anymore. Like, I want to go back to where you could go to a store and fucking buy shit and like I miss Radio Shack. Just stupid stores like that where you can go in and. Now you gotta go to these big box stores.
I tell you what, though, I spend thousands, probably $1,000 a month on Amazon.
Yeah, but
it's mainly for woodworking and business supplies and stuff like that because it's so much more convenient. That for me to get some of the things I need, like tongue oil and stuff, I have to drive an hour and a half to get it.
Yeah, I get that, but like, I'm hoping the pandemic, once it ends or they declare we're good to go, like people want to get out and like some of these things like malls and stuff that have died might make a little bit of a comeback. Mom and pop stores, they won't.
Mom and pop shops, I think, have a chance because of the whole COVID thing. A lot of people feel the same way you do, Neil, and they want to. More people are buying local. I think that's a lot to do with the success I've been having is people want to support local things. And even I do to an extent. There's just not much I
get
that I need.
Different areas more like I have this awesome little supermarket by me and I go there all the time. I love it. And I'd rather shop there than that, Giant Eagle or something.
Walmart. Ugh.
Yeah, my go-to hardware store is a couple blocks from where I'm at. It's they just got acquired. It's an Ace True Value.
True Value,
Value, but they just got bought out by like a bigger owner a little while ago, which they improved the store, right? They made it better. But Lowe's Home Depot ain't even in my town. I got to go to the next town. But Lowe's is on the other side of town completely. And if I have a choice, I always go there first to small store because I'll pay a little more, but I can find somebody to help me. They have a selection of what I need. I might not have 30 choices, but they have a selection. At Lowe's, you know how many times I started talking to somebody and they just look at me like I'm speaking Chinese?
Lowe's blows, man.
Some little, no offense intended, I guess, but some like woman, blonde, whatever, comes through in her little vest, and I'm like, hey, I'm looking for this. And they are like, oh, well, hold on, let me find Greg. And then
there's always a fucking Greg, and he's such a miserable fuck, too.
And he's nowhere to be found.
Nowhere. You got smoking a dart out the back.
This lady, I go to Home Depot today, and she's like, you want to sign up for a card? I'm like, I got 2 fucking cards. Like,
do you want a third?
Yeah, that's what they do. They do that sometimes. It's like, no, I got 1 for work and 1 for myself.
Sure, I got something to tell y'all, kind of going off of that. Neil, you know this, but I took a break this year. My mom passed the end of last year. So we've been having to deal with all that stuff. Well, my dad went just last weekend to go get the cell phone turned off. He goes in there and they got Xfinity Mobile. He goes in, he's like, hey, I want to turn this phone off. They're like, oh, we don't do that in here. It's like, well, you're an Xfinity store. You should be able to just turn off the phone. So she gives them a phone number and it's a 1-800 number. And he just plainly asks, he's like, is this so like an American number to where I can understand? So when I have trouble understanding some of these people, and she's like, "Oh, you're racist. You need to get out of the store. I'm not going to serve you." And they escorted him out the store.
Wow.
It's like
that's service.
I quit Sirius XM because anytime you had an issue, it was in India. I couldn't fucking understand any of them.
my biggest gripe. The first words out of their mouth is a lie. Hi, I'm Bob.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised you can even pick up on that. I mean, seriously, I had a professor in college that was Indian, and all she did was talk for 3 hours, and you couldn't fucking understand her.
Mm-hmm.
I failed the class. I'm like, you talk for 3 hours, you give no information, and no one can understand you. Everyone failed in the class.
Yeah,
Nope.
I had a math class like that back when I was actually trying the college thing before I went trades. And
Idiot.
same situation, some foreign guy could, barely understand what he was saying. And he came in, he started talking, he didn't stop until the class was over. And that was it. He packed up his stuff and walked out. And so while I was trying to do the class, I will say that, we were like meeting as a group, like almost the whole fucking class after the class to try to like, okay, what did he say? What are we doing? Like to try to figure it out. It was ridiculous. I mean, that was a junior college or whatever, but still, I mean, the fact of the matter remains, or even with my giant global company that I have now, I still run into that issue. I'll jump into a meeting and, I may not be able to clearly define what somebody's saying, if it's a thick accent or something. And you can't say that. You can't say, "Oh, I can't understand you." Why? I'm speaking English. And then it turns into like an HR.
Well,
so you're just like, "Oh, hey, can you link me that document for reference?" And then you have to read it on your own time, and going to the meeting was a waste. It's the PC culture, and I guess, I mean, it's good to be global to a degree, but like we were all saying before, like, I think we need to get back to some of that small stuff. There's some things that just aren't going to go away, but we need that tight-knit community. I live in this building, right? And we'll call it's sort of like a loft, but there's all kinds of apartments in it. But I don't know anybody that lives in this building. I see them in passing, I might
don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
There's no social network.
Yeah, that's awful. I mean, I hate
The
that.
only one that I know by name is the old man that just recently moved in under me, because he saw that 95 Geo I was driving, and the headlights are all upgraded. All the lights are upgraded to like LED and whatnot. And he saw that one day, and he was like, "Hey," he stopped me. He's like, "Hey, how'd you do that with your car?" And I'm like, "Do what?" And I mean, this guy's got to be like 80. I mean, he's definitely on the far side. And he's like, the lights, they're all bright, because he still drives. He has a car right out front. It's a Toyota Corolla or something.
Of course it is.
And he was like, can you help me do that to my car? I can't see anything with my headlights. And I'm like, yeah. So I bought him a nice set on Amazon. I threw him in the car, the lows, the highs, everything, got him all set up. He insisted on paying me. I tried not to take it, but he insisted on paying me.
What, did he give you a $5 bill or something?
No,
don't spend this everywhere at once.
Actually, he gave me more than they cost, because he's like, "I want to pay you for your time," and this, and again, it was longer trying to talk him out of paying me than it took me to put them in the car. You know what I mean? But, and I was just like, okay, and I took that money, and I forget what I did with it, but I didn't spend it. I used it for other things to benefit other people, but. That's the only one that I know, and that's because, he's obviously from an older generation that isn't afraid to say hi to somebody.
Well, this new neighborhood I moved into, I actually grew up in this neighborhood for 5 years. I can see a house I lived in, but I moved in, and everyone talks to you. Go down the street, everyone waves, says hi. That's the whole reason why I moved here, and it's refreshing. Like,
See,
it's nice to
the
go
big
outside
problem.
and have a small conversation with your neighbor.
The big problem I have now is I'm not the person that's going to talk to people unless I know them. All right, I'm the people y'all say is bad.
I know, I'm so with Brad.
But what I hate is now that my name's getting out in the community, because we're just less than 1,000 people here in my
Instagram famous
town. People know me, especially through my wife because she grew up here, but I don't know them.
Right.
So they're sitting there talking to me like we know each other, and I'm like,
who the fuck are you?
Yeah, okay. I can't do the small talk thing, man. I've never been able to do it.
Oh, I hate it.
One of the big things is the company I work for, we're a global company, and they've outsourced a lot of stuff overseas. So all your call centers overseas. Even the check refunds for when somebody moves out of an apartment is from overseas. It's like, okay, I see every single day on these hip local town pages on Facebook looking for a home job. Why don't we bring these call centers back to our own country?
Yeah, like we're paying people unemployment. Be like, hey, you got to answer a phone 4 hours a day to get your fucking check. Like, it's the easiest, simplest job ever. Like, you just need a phone. Here, we'll give you a phone.
Have you called a lot of phone customer support lately, though?
Oh, that's awful.
There's an entire problem because I'm getting a lot of those people. I can just tell they're like literally at home or wherever taking the call. And like one is a medical supply company because I have a CPAP that I haven't been using. But
tisk.
The people that supply the machine, like the office that like fits you and does all that, is separate from the billing and separate from the supplies. Of course, the supply people call me because they want me to order supplies. I can't get these billing people on the phone to save my life. It's been months. And I've called them and called them and called them, and like people will pick up and you'll hear stuff going on in the background, like hood shit, but nobody's on the phone. And then there's an option I recently found to tell them to call you back. I've done that 3 times.
Those don't work.
It never rang.
Yeah. It never fucking works.
So I probably owe this company. I don't think I've ever paid them for this machine. I probably owe them like thousands of dollars, and I can't even get the billing department on the phone to pay it. So
I found that when you owe somebody money, they'll get a hold of you when the time is right.
Well, they'll find you eventually.
6 years and
yeah, exactly.
9 months down the road.
Oh, I just got one of those calls today. The IRS said I owed them money and pressed 1 to be connected kind of thing. And I'm like, okay.
Even or if they're coming to your job or something.
They'll come after me. They'll come knocking eventually. I don't know. Like the whole tax thing is killing me this year because I made, and this is public record, so I made somewhere in the neighborhood, I will admit, maybe 17 to like 20,000 profit. We're not taking any losses into account. We're just saying what I know for sure I walked out with. Probably 17 to 20K. I got a statement from one of the many trading exchanges that I was using, and they're like, yeah, your net gain is like 30K. And that's just one.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, that don't add up. Like, and they're not saying, oh, we withheld tax or any of this. No, they're saying like you made 30K. And I'm like, the market went like this the whole time I was trading. Like I got lucky on a couple and made some money, but that's it. I'm like, I'm going to take it to my accountant and see if they can help figure it out. Maybe I don't speak legalese or whatever, but yeah, they're like, that's just one. And they're like, yeah, you made 30 grand. And I'm like, no, at no point during the entire year did I have a positive balance of 30K at all. Like never. So I don't understand how they're doing their math, but it's definitely wrong.
Well, I'm still waiting for my fucking tax return from last year, and they want me to file this year.
Why didn't you get it for last year?
Huh?
Why didn't you get it for last year?
I'm still waiting to get it.
I am too. I'm the same way. Although we didn't file our taxes till October.
Well, I filed mine in like early last year, and the guy who does it says there's still a lot of people that still haven't gotten it, and I'm like, well, why should I even do it this year?
Yeah, right.
That's weird. That's very strange. I mean, I can't say I got mine. I filed late, but I got mine in what I would consider to be like a normal time frame.
Well,
I'm worried.
The IRS is like 800 people down, and even though how big they are, I guess that's still a lot of people to.
I tell you what, this year has me pretty worried with taxes, with the whole $600 thing or whatever it is. I mean, I was planning on filing taxes as a business this year, anyways, because last year is the first year I ever made. I mean, I didn't make a lot of money. I'm nowhere near being like full time or anything, but I made enough to where I have to file. I have to say I made some money, so I plan on doing it anyways. But shit, man. I just have a feeling they're going to come crack down on all the broke people, the poor people, to get their stimulus payments back, because we don't have the knowledge to fight against them like the rich people do.
I tell you what. This is what I did after I started renting that house out that I own, which has been horrible. I've done nothing but lose money on that whole deal the entire time. Even now, I raised their rent, but because I'm a half decent person, I didn't raise it anywhere near market value. Like what I could be getting out of it, I didn't want to raise it too much on them, so I raised it to a better level. But I could be getting like probably at least like $1,100 a month out of it, and I think they're only paying $9. So I kept it low on purpose, but as soon as I figured out my taxes were going to get complicated, screw H&R Block, screw all these tax services, screw all that. Back to our earlier conversation of small local businesses. There is an accountant somewhere in your town or somebody that can do this stuff. Go pay for their services. I don't talk to them ever unless I have a question. But when it comes for tax time, I get everything together, digital, paper, whatever, and I just go hand it to them. I answer any questions they have. If they need to come back to me, they will. $300 is what I pay them every year. Maybe it went up this year. I don't know yet. But that's a small price to pay, and they're actually looking at your stuff. They're not filling out a 1040 easy for you and just throwing it off in the wind. They're actually tearing through it. Like, they went over all my YouTube earnings. They told me, like, hey, you could LLC this, but you have to make a profit within the first 3 years, or basically they're going to take away your LLC. So they gave me all kinds of like sideline business advice, semi tied up in the taxes. But they said, like this year, I have basically no overhead. I didn't do much. So everything I made this year is profit. If I were to LLC, I'd be good for like another 5 years because I'm profitable. What they're looking for, most people, when they start these whack LLCs, is they want to claim the losses, try to take away from their income, and that's why they made that rule. So if you're actually turning $1 profit, you can keep your LLC, and it actually grants you like an extension, and then you have like another 5 years, and then you'll get another evaluation. And at that point, you just have to be profitable more than you're losing. That's it.
Yeah, we have my wife's aunt is an accountant, like a CPA or whatever. So she does her taxes. This is the first year where I've really got to get everything together as far as materials, tools, and actually claim those for my taxes.
Take pictures, or even, it sounds stupid, like learn the basics of Excel or something and do a spread. Anything. Like, just keep those records. Like, I had like a folder and I was throwing all my stuff in it from the YouTube channel. And then I noticed when I went back, I think it was 2 years ago, to file my taxes for it, like some of the receipts were like barely legible.
I guess
So
Bagel Man's hanging out.
Take pictures of them.
Seen that.
And keep it so that you can actually use it later, because the receipts don't always hold up.
Yeah, that's one thing I do like, is I buy most of my big purchases online. So
yeah, or do it all on like a card. If you LLC, start taking everything and doing it with that company card, and that basically the statement then becomes your expenses, right?
Matt, you're getting yelled at by McKevitt.
Wait, oh shit! Oh my god!
The Bagel Man.
He exists.
Sorry, I didn't realize, Dan.
Chisel jaw looking.
There. I was too busy on my my accounting services brand.
You think I wouldn't make it?
100% thought you weren't going to make it.
I told him you weren't going to make it unless you said yes. If you said maybe, you wouldn't be here.
My percentage was at negative 10%.
Yeah.
I have been known to have that type of response. I'll
absolutely.
Happily admit that.
That's why the Bagel Man's the man. You just never know.
You always keep him wanting more, and that's what Dan he always keeps you wanting a little bit more.
If there's one thing I deliver, it's desire.
Less.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was asking. They said, well, who's all going to show up? And I said, well, Junk's coming. The maintenance man's coming. Dan said he's coming. Oh, he ain't coming. I literally said, yeah, it's a plan. Like, we're good. Yeah, but it's Dan, though. He's not going to show up.
This fucking guy. He's bailed before. I've seen it.
It's the only time I'm unreliable, when it is with YouTube. It's the only time I'm unreliable.
You're not getting paid for it. Fuck it, right?
Exactly. And to be fair, the only times I haven't shown was because I was way too drunk to do it anyway. So
Dan
Those
does like
are
to
the
get
best
pissed
times to show up. Are you kidding me?
No. When you can't keep your eyes open drunk, you're too drunk for YouTube.
Was it the last?
Yeah, but then at that point, can you operate the keyboard to get onto the live?
Oh yeah, I don't operate keyboards at all if I don't have to.
I thought the last live stream I was on was with Dan. Were you smoking like a big thick cigar, like a cartoon character, and just hammered drunk?
It wasn't a thick cigar, but yeah, I was smoking a cigar at some point, I'm sure.
Ah, shit.
I can't even remember the last live stream I did.
Are you doing YouTube anymore, Brad, now that the coupons are back out, or are you just fuck it?
I did notice that. But no, I just have more ideas than I have time.
That's the problem.
And the fact is, when I get out of my shop, I just don't feel like filming right now. I don't know. Anytime I've tried to force a video, it sucked anyways, and it was a big waste of time. So I'm not gonna promise anything.
You must have forced a lot of videos, eh?
I think I got about 5 out of my 200 that were pretty good.
Gold.
Well, that reminds me of a buddy of mine. And he's really good at a lot of things, but he wants to succeed at, it seems like, anything so bad that he just, one day he's starting a podcast, the next day he's doing YouTube videos, the next day he's doing this, and now he's going to do video editing, and he's shooting music videos. And I mean, literally, like, the guy's all over the place. And I'm like, I sat him down a while back, and it doesn't seem like the advice stuck, but I was just like, whatever you're going to do, whatever it is, just keep doing the one thing. Exactly. If you're going to do a podcast, just keep doing it. If you're going to do YouTube or make music videos, throw everything at that. Like, quit trying to assume that you're going to, I'm going to make a music video and then something's going to happen. Or I'll start a YouTube channel and everybody will just flock over. Like, that shit doesn't happen. It's not real.
It only works on TikTok.
Unless it's Brad on TikTok. Yeah.
I gotta see this video, Brad. This is like I can't believe this happened to you. You didn't even let me know.
How many
TikTok
people? Hold on,
famous.
how many people saw the video? Like what kind of?
What happened?
Brad's super famous all of a
I think
sudden.
he's at like 250,000 views on that video.
250,000
I just want
views.
everybody to know that I knew Brad when he was still Tough Tool Reviews and had 250 fucking subscribers. Okay,
McKevin's is still
I have the
marking up that
screenshots
tree.
of us talking shit to each other.
Don't worry, Dan. He's
To
not making
prove
any
it.
money off it. You don't have to suck him off quite yet, but he's getting there.
If I lived in Texas, I would have sucked Brad off by now. Just
Oh,
saying.
oh,
Just saying.
okay.
That is high praise. High praise for the Bagel Man. I can't believe Brad's super
saying.
famous.
I'm just thinking you lucky you don't live in Texas because I've been married for a while now. So
Yeah, we all know that.
I'm just saying, we look out for each other. You know what I mean? I scratch my
Oh.
bag, you scratch yours. Yeah.
Fuck, I love
yeah.
Dan. Bagel bastard. How's sucking
Yeah.
shit, Dan? You still doing shit stuff or?
Yeah.
Nice.
I still suck shit for a living.
Oh,
What
that's good.
what are you doing now? Like
I think he's just like me, and he has a bad camera angle. I think he's looking at you guys.
Is that better? I have to apologize. I moved up
No,
to.
Brad, no, you're okay. Continue. You're nailing it.
This isn't my normal setup. I moved
That's
in December.
Did you just
So-
like start doing that installation job? You just said, fuck it, or
No, this is actually my new basement.
okay, nice, looks good.
This is the house that I moved into. I
That's
didn't
up to
touch
code.
any of this shit.
Yeah,
that
for
was
sure.
that wasn't it. Look, they got 4 different kinds. They got
Oh, yeah.
rock wool. They got pink. They got yellow.
Whatever they can steal.
They got all of it. We got all of it. We got everything except for a little bit of blown in here. We don't have fucking any blown in. I don't know.
Got to
This is
take
the
Harbor
finished
Freight
part of my basement. You should see the unfinished part. You believe that shit? This house is a fucking nightmare.
I love it, Dan.
Brought to you by Meth and Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, there you go.
I
I
mean,
was
the
gonna say
house
it's somebody
itself
buying
is
a roll insulation every paycheck.
yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it looks like.
Man, I found this one on the side of the road.
Ooh, do you guys have half rolls back there? I only got. What can I get for $15?
Right.
Oh, that's good.
I need a 12x5 square.
You know what? I bought the whole place for 167 or something, so
Fuck,
it's not
that's
that
cheap,
big of a
Brad.
deal.
Or Dan, whatever fuck your name is, the bagel guy, shit guy. That's cheap as shit, man.
Guy who does his shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's even cheap as shit for around my area in Texas. You
damn.
know,
Mm-hmm.
we have
But
cheap
you
houses.
live the worst place in America, though, right? Or
No, me? Sure.
Yeah. According to Neil.
No. I don't live in Philly anymore. I moved.
Oh.
I'm in the Poconos now.
Yeah.
Fuck
I'm
is
alright
that?
with
What is
Poconos.
that?
Really
Poking
sucks.
holes? Where? I don't know what that is.
Poconos.
It's an island chain,
The
isn't
fucking
I was
thing
gonna
where
say, I think it's a
lies
Beach
is-
Boys song.
it? Yeah.
No, it's a
Kokomo.
it's a
That's
portion
what I
of the
was thinking.
mountain
Oh,
region.
Kokomo.
You guys all have Google, right?
Poconos?
Like Pocono Raceway.
Poconos. Poconos.
That's fitting.
Like Pocahontas without the honest. Something.
Yeah, they're very dishonest up here. They're terrible. They're terrible liars. Those people.
I tell you what, we just got finally approved to buy a home maybe 3 or 4 months ago.
Oh, Pennsylvania.
We just started looking at a couple, and man, that's nerve-wracking shit, man.
Oh, buying a house is the fucking worst thing I ever did in my life. I lost my ass on my house, but only person in Canada.
I feel terrible because I'm
Don't they just give those away in Canada?
Housing is so fucking expensive here, man.
Don't
It's
you
more
just, like
expensive
cut
than
like 50 lawns or something and hand them a bag of grass and
It
Yeah.
doesn't
you're good?
make sense. Like we have nothing but land, Yeah,
Right.
for some reason we can't build a house. Like nobody can stay sober enough for like 30 days to
Right,
fucking
right.
pour foundation and put some sticks
Lay,
up. Like, it's crazy.
proper.
Fucking awful, man.
You should
I
come
agree.
down here, man. I'm telling you, everywhere I look, there's another housing development somewhere, and they're throwing these things up in like a week. I
Big
wouldn't buy
mansions.
one to save my life. Not a new construction. They're built so fast, they can't be doing a good job.
Oh,
Oh
absolutely.
no, they're
not.
fucking.
We moved into a place that was built during COVID, and this is our house. So the house we used to live in was built in the 60s, and that was a huge piece of shit. But then I moved into this thing, and I said, "Holy fuck, this is a death trap!" Like we have underground parking, and they just poured the slab. Like they just put in cement like this year. And when you come out, there's like a slab with some drainage, and the thing is bowed up so fucking bad. It's like they built it, and they're like, oh, it gets cold here? And it was like the first day minus 30, fucking blammo, baby. And it's not going back. That's just how it is now. So it's pretty
What's underground parking?
You don't need that in Texas, Brad. It's so you can start your car in the morning.
You don't know what a basement is.
You got to go below the frost line.
Exactly.
You got a daggone meat cellar, boy.
Yeah.
I've been in a basement, like 3 or 4 times in my life.
No, Brad. You've been in a crawl space, maybe.
There you go.
I mean, it was when I was up in Pennsylvania, but
Yeah, that's right. I forgot you had family up here.
You know, it's funny because somebody, most of you know who I'm talking about,
Fucking
builds
damn.
all these buildings,
Oh.
right? And they are rife with problems. And now that I'm in the position that I am, I have to deal with all the big problems from the buildings. And so we just had one where the asphalt and the concrete are shifting, kind of what Doug's talking about. And we got a hold of the GC, the general contractor that built the building. We're like, hey, same problem as last year. Like, what's going on? And they basically were like, yeah, there's no way to fix it.
Just take a couple of those and see if that fixes the problem.
Your structure. That's your fucking problem.
Well, no, the funny thing is that, again, who we are, we don't accept that as a viable answer. So we're like, what do we have to do? Like, tear the whole thing up and redo it? Like, what's going on here?
Call Bob the Builder.
One of the other managers responded that, and I'm just sitting there going, okay, this is about to get bad. They're like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess we could with enough funding. And they're like, funding? You are responsible.
Just built this.
Like, you got to do this. And they're like, oh, wait. And then came the email went from like 6 people to 30 to it's all, out of everybody's hands. And now everybody's arguing back and forth. But it's like,
oh, I love that. That's one of my favorite things.
How do you not think this? This one in question is like Indiana. It's Midwest. We know it snows. You can't just slap this together like you do something in Arizona.
Well,
There's frost, things shift, they freeze, they thaw. Like, they basically said the substrate wasn't dug down far enough and then resettled properly, and now it shifts. Like, we can't have minor earthquakes in our parking lot. Like, it's just.
I mean, it's probably because of COVID, to be honest with you.
I'm blaming everything on COVID and Russia now.
Sounds like a COVID issue, I think.
That daggone Wuhan virus.
You try masking up.
Now, you want to hear something funny? I got.
Did you watch your ads for 20 seconds before you inspected that structure?
So I got COVID, right? And I work from home now. I only travel if I have to, which is more often.
That sounds like a sweet gig.
Oh, it's pretty good. It's over there.
I only travel when I have to, too. It's called every fucking day I travel because I have to.
Yeah, bitch.
So when I got COVID, I had to notify HR, do all this stuff. And this lady calls me and she's like, okay, she's getting all the information. And she's like, all right, so I'm looking at your sick time balance. And wait a minute, it says here that you're remote, which means you work from a virtual location at home. And I'm like, yeah, I work from home. She goes, oh, well, then I'm not going to take anything from you. And you just work as you can over the course of your sickness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. You'll see me in 3 weeks then.
But
I guess.
that it's like I'm on my couch half dead because it hit me pretty hard there for a few days. And people are still calling me like, hey, we need you to do this, or you got to get online and check this out or whatever. And I'm like,
I feel like I'm dying.
yeah, like I was in a bad way for about a week.
So
And-
last I knew, you were doing like maintenance on industrial equipment. So how are you doing that from home now?
Well, so I switched. I left there and I went to a company that we run maintenance for an amazing place.
Yeah.
So we run their maintenance. I ran my location here close to my house for about a year and a half, and then I got a promotion. And so now I'm a regional planner. I organize all the vendors. I make sure all the work orders are getting done. I do a lot of that. I write all the POs, write all the checks, and do all this stuff from right there. Like the $300 Serta computer chair that I bought because I didn't realize I was going to spend 12 hours a day in it. But all that's company expenses. But yeah, it's a lot of computer work. I wake up at about 6 every day.
Dad's got to buy his own shitter gloves. Meanwhile, this guy's getting fucking $300 chairs. Bullshit.
Oh well, no, they bought.
You'd be surprised.
Except for the
You'd be
desk,
surprised.
they bought all of that, like the monitors, the keyboard, the
That's
chair,
all
all the file folders, I got right here, Excel for Dummies. I bought that so I'd have a hard copy to leaf through when I'm lost. Just different stuff like that. I mean, it's a lot of reports and stuff and phone calls, but it's still very maintenance related because I have to sift through like all the BS that I'm being told. Oh, hey, this is messed up. Call somebody out. Why is it messed up? What's wrong with it? Did you go look at it? Like I got to tell them something, give them an idea of what they're walking into. Or, we just get like random requests like, we want to paint the whole building green. Like, that's never going to happen, but okay. It's just weird stuff like that. And there's so many rules and regulations that change constantly. I probably get like 200 to 300 emails a day.
That sounds awful.
But
Neil, are you rolling?
Yeah, I gotta get going, guys. I'm sorry.
See you, Neil.
Oh shit, Neil was here. Hey.
I'll catch you
I
guys
gotta
on
fuck
the
with you,
next one
Pittsburgh.
in like a week or two.
What's that?
Catch you guys on the next one in like a week or two.
Oh yeah. All right. I thought you were gonna say something about hockey. I was gonna say I haven't watched a minute of hockey all season, so don't even fucking talk to me.
I didn't say a word.
all right, take
see
it
you
easy,
guys.
man.
Very smart.
Later, man.
Later, Neil.
So, Brad, how far away is the dream?
Oh man, I still say 3 to 5 years.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, getting a house is definitely a step in the right direction because one requirement is a bigger shop. I'm tired of working in my 8x10 shithole. But it's the business. I got to learn how to run a business, and I'm very dumb with that. I mean, I understand sell something for more than you make it for, and I started calculating costs more critically, but I just don't know business.
Mm-hmm.
The job I'm at now is kind of giving me some insight, seeing what they do, but it also makes me say that maybe I won't be able to make a career out of what I exactly want to do because they do a lot of production type shit.
So, how much do you think you made last year if you had to round about?
Oh, I'm under 20,000.
Okay, but
American dollars.
so you do a cost benefit analysis on is it worth it to maybe even rent a space to try to move over?
I thought about that, and I even discussed it with my wife, renting shop space. But the fact where I'm at right now, the majority of my work gets done at night after the kids go down, and I don't want to. I don't want to have to drive back somewhere, and I don't want to miss, spending the evenings with my kids. So.
Right. Yeah, that makes it hard. So you really need like a nice garage on your house, where you can really work and get started.
It doesn't even have to be nice. I mean, it can be a shithole with 3 types of insulation. I just need more space.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I've been staring at this lot. It's been on the listings for like I think it's over a year now, which is really weird in this market. But the reason is it's an old that kind of like block where like they had it in schools where the face is like glazed, right? So it's like a glazed block garage on a lot in the corner of nothing on a dead end street. But it's got like a yard. I assume it has some kind of septic system. Whoever was there before had like a trailer on it or something to that effect. But right now it's just a lot with the garage. And I've been staring at this thing off and on for months. I mean, they only want like $40K for it or something.
$1,000?
But
that's like a year rent, man. Why don't you buy that right now?
That's what I'm on the fence. If I sell that house, I just might. And I could have a garage to work on stuff.
I'd offer him 20.
Exactly.
But
that's nothing, man.
If I bought it for the channel, it'd be an expense. But I'd have to try to clear over 20,000 that year.
Good luck.
Yeah,
but the kicker is a lot of places will not lend on something that's like a barn or something on land, so you basically have to pay cash for it.
Oh, that might be the reason why it's still sitting.
Yeah, because it's not a home of value. FHA, rural development, and all that will not.
Where are you? Like, where exactly do you live? Like, I'll buy that right now.
Ohio.
Yeah.
It's like 4 blocks from me. It's not even far. Like, I could drive there in under 10 minutes.
See, I can see it right now. You go ahead, you whip out the cash because I know you got 20 grand sitting or probably in your safe behind you. You buy that place.
That house, I will.
And then you just, 1 month, you pour the slab, then you save up your money again, then you go do all the framing yourself, and you just build your house as you go.
Whereabouts is it? We're in Mansfield?
Or no. This
Norwalk?
is Troy.
Where?
We're Troy. We're just north of Dayton.
Dayton. Okay. I'm not looking at a map right now. I know Ohio like the back of my fucking hand. So you got Columbus, then Dayton.
Yeah. So we're west of Columbus.
Greenville?
Yeah, kind of out that area. You're close.
Oh, Greenville. Oh, you're by Grand Lake.
Oh, no. Well, yeah, I drive by north. But I think it's like
fucking Junk's talking about it like he lived around the corner.
Yeah, I'm from Middletown.
Yeah, right off of 304 over there. Yeah, you're good. I know where you're at. You make that first left and the second right, and you go up a half a mile, and you're at your lot, right?
Ohio's the best. Why does we want to live there? Like, it just seems like it's relaxed.
Hey guys, I'm gonna roll. Kiddos just got home, so I'm gonna put them to bed.
Take it easy, sir. Thanks for coming.
Right, it's good seeing all y'all again.
Later, man.
Later, Brad.
So there's this other thing. I'll ping off you guys because I've been messaging the owner about it. It's up by Cleveland. Now, hear me out on this. This to me
Cleveland rocks.
A brilliant business idea. It's called Wingman Garage. And I don't know the entire business model yet. I have more questions than answers. But basically, it's like a rent-a-shop, right?
Oh, yeah. There's lots of those up here.
See, I never heard of this. I've heard one other person say, oh, yeah, they exist. And I'm like, what? You rent shop space. You get them. I don't know if you bring your own tools, but there's people there to advise you. I don't think they help you. But you can rent a shop and go in and do your own work and then go home.
Absolutely.
It sounds brilliant, especially right now with the used car market being like way up. Everybody's trying to keep these old beaters alive.
Yeah, man. There's a few guys up here but the thing is, if you can buy a fucking shop for 40 grand, how are you gonna rent one? You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, there's lots up here. There's at least the city that I came from, there was like a 7-bay garage. Yeah, the guy does well. He's got a couple 2-post lifts in there. He charges those bays out for more. Honestly, a lot of people go in there just to fucking know, like, you know, when it's super cold, they'll bring their stuff in there to melt all the ice off and give it a good clean and fucking whip it back out.
Yeah, I asked him about franchising. He said he's working on it, and hopefully he'll have something by like Q3. But I thought that was really interesting. I was like, that would be a good business model if you could get the right location. You got to have those kind of customers that are going to want to upkeep their vehicles and pay to rent the space. But it sounds like a hell of an idea. You know how many times I was working on stuff going, if I just had a fucking lift, or
I'd pay anything for a lift.
Right?
Exactly.
Lift makes it so much easier.
So much easier.
It's like cheating, really. It really is.
It is. Yeah. That's how they get you. That's what
Jack,
you pay that.
What it was. You know?
I use him Rhino Ranch Walmart.
So Dewey, what are you up to? I know you said you had some family stuff going on. How's your professional career?
Well, my cat's saying hello. No, get out of the way. I still do apartment maintenance, but back in June I started my own pressure washing company.
I remember that.
So kind of got it somewhat taken off because it was the end of the season. And this year I've made the jump to do get a CPA because I'm gonna actually have to claim stuff for this year.
I gotta roll, boys. I'll see you later. Thanks for having me. Pleasure as always, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
But yeah, just getting everything set up to pressure wash. My goal this year is to make an additional probably 30 or 40 grand on the side at least, maybe even more. We'll see.
Well, that's a nice chunk of change, and that sounds like that would skyrocket you to, you know, that springboard level where you could actually make the jump and switch over.
Yeah, I'm part of a group that's on Facebook, and these guys are all like to grow your business to the next level, and just push your boundaries to where you can actually quit whatever job you're doing. It's like it'd be nice to have a house and all that because I'm still in a darn apartment, and it's like 2 years I will have a house.
Right.
Which I've had a house and land. I still got land, but it's so far away from anything job wise, it's not worth it.
Yeah. There's a guy on YouTube that I was watching, and I noticed a couple of things about him. I'd have to go back and look at, like, you know, how he started, if those videos still exist. But he's up in Canada. Sad that Junk's not here. He probably knows about it. He details cars, but the interesting thing about this guy is he's got what I consider to be a relatively big garage on his house. It's a nicer house and like a subdivision, but you can tell he did something specific. I'm assuming it was a new construction or he just got really lucky because his vacuum that he details with is like built into the wall. He has a giant floor scrubber pit.
Did he just build this like within the past 6 months?
I don't think so. I think he's been doing it for a couple of years now, but he's got all this stuff. It's it's like, oh, I forget his damn name, and I don't want to look it up. It's some detailed channel, and he's got a good following. But it's crazy to look at that. He's getting paid for the details. He's also doing the videos. It's almost as if, I mean, I know he's running a business, but I'm sure the YouTube money with him having like millions of subscribers probably overshadows like the profit off the actual detail. It's almost like he should probably just be doing them for free because he's got himself set up so well and his following so good that, you know, he runs it out of his house. I can't imagine that he actually has like a real job.
Is it by chance Mad Detailing?
No, it's not Mad. It's God, hold on. Now I'm gonna have to look him up.
Because there's Detail Geek.
Detail Geek. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he just built. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure because I follow a lot of these guys because we all are in a group together, like auto detailing and pressure washing.
Right.
But if I remember right, he had an in-house setup, but he's actually building his own shop right next to his house or something like that. Let's see.
Oh, really?
I think it's him that did it. I'm scrolling through his videos, but I can't find it right now.
But it's purpose built, and I think that's a really good place to be if you can do that, especially with YouTube and all the crap going on with it now. I mean, if you can actually stand the test of time and build a following and still not necessarily rely on it, it sounds like, you have some other information even that he's able to, move up from even there, which is just crazy, and I think that's kind of the goal. I was talking to like a mentor the other day to a degree, and that's where I decided to sell that house that I have, because he's like, well, like, what is it giving you? Like, you've been holding on to this house. Why didn't you sell it before? Number one, it wasn't worth as much as it is now. And number two, I didn't know if I was going to go back to it. And I thought rental income was going to be a thing. You know how much money I've lost on this house? One of my tenants trashed it. I had to go in and redo everything that was after redoing it when they moved in, like completely new floors, paint on every wall, like all that stuff. So I've lost a ton of money on it. And you can't sue the people. Like, everybody thinks you can sue the people and get it back. That's only if they ever pay. Every time they change jobs, bank accounts, anything, like, you have to go refile with the court. It's ridiculous to try to find them again and locate them. It's not even worth it. So you'll never get that money back. And he was like running the numbers to me, and he's like, okay, so you're not really, it's basically just paying your mortgage, but you've done that for a few years. He goes, it's worth double what you paid for it. Why would you, if I gave you $100 today and said tomorrow I'll buy it back for $2, why would you not do that? He goes, just sell it, just get rid of it. So that's what I'm trying to do. Hopefully within the next couple of months, that'll sell, and then I'll have a chunk of change that I can either wipe out my debt and then figure out what I want to do, or put a down payment on a house, or invest in a business, or whatever I decide to do with it. But, I think one of the biggest problems is a lot of people are afraid of success. They don't want to, they think it's easy, but then as soon as they start trying something, they see how hard it is, and then it gets really intimidating to think of, like, oh my God, if this is how hard it is at this level, like, what do I have to do to get to the next? And that, and the steady paycheck thing is a huge killer. To go to work, clock in, clock out, go home, and collect a paycheck. When you're running any kind of business, that's you. Like, it may not be your name on there or whatever, but that's your livelihood at stake. And that's tough. That's probably what keeps a lot of people from even trying.
A lot of it, and this is all part of, like, in the group that I'm in, they're like, hey, it's more than just going out and doing something. Because when you leave one job, you're doing 7 jobs. You're the marketing, the financial, the labor, the scheduler. Like, you do so much. And if it wasn't for, like, some of these CRMs, I started a new one this year that manages my invoicing, my schedule, my route planner. It's all integrated.
Oh,
and, dude, some of the stuff that you can get now for this one, you can use it for HVAC, pressure washing, pretty much any scenario of traveling jobs. You can use it to manage it. So It's a handy tool and it's cheap.
Yeah, and that's you got to learn to like time management is
Mhm.
huge. I've learned that in the position that I'm in now too. Is you have to try to be efficient. Don't spend too much time on one thing, and if you can free yourself up, like time is your biggest uh, value on anything. It doesn't matter really what you're making, whether you're making like 20,000 a year or 100 million. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter. Like time, rich people pay people to save them time. They don't pay them to do stuff, right? They pay them to perform a service or to whatever, so that they don't have to worry about it, so that they don't have to focus on it. That's the only thing that they're doing. They're buying time. Uh-oh. Live stream just got real. Well, hello.
So what's up?
What's up?
Hey,
Stop, bro.
good to see
Can
you.
you see me?
Yeah, they can see you and hear you.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
All right, don't be a weirdo. But yeah, it's breaking that umbilical cord of just being able to clock in, clock out, like you said. A lot of people stop, fool. Get a toddler, they said. But yeah, it's a lot of stress, and a lot of people just can't do it.
Yeah. So, Dan, I think you froze up on me a little bit there. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
So, are you happy with the new house and the 3 different kinds of insulation, or?
Yeah. three different kinds of insulation is my one of my only issues, other than some other small things. But
Well, yeah, there's always something. Houses are like used cars. There's always a story and some history.
when I bought it, it was moving ready for the most part. The paint job was for shit everywhere else, but it looks okay. It just it was lazy. Like there's fucking paint on the trim and stuff I would have never done. I know I can resell it right now for more money than I paid for it, but that's not part of my plan.
Right. You have more space though. You have everything you need. Because if I remember right, wasn't your last garage was kind of like loaded with stuff? I know you're in the basement now, but
All my stuff is still well. First of all, my last place was actually my mom's house because I was in between places, for like 5 years. But most of my stuff was there and is still there. Like even my actual setup where I had like my camera holder and all that. Right now, you guys are on my phone leaning against my Xbox fucking box on my couch. So that's why you can barely see half of my face. I don't have any of my workbenches. I don't have any of my. I don't have any of my home tools. I have my work tools because they're in my work truck, but which is at my shop. But I moved up here at like December, the end of December, like
okay.
5 days before Christmas. But it's it's cool having my own house again, and all that shit. And I'm gonna flip it in so many words. It was pretty much moving ready. It's fine the way it is. I mean, shit, I bought it how it is, so
right.
I can at this point, I bought it I technically bought it in September. Right now, I could probably sell it for. I think I paid $167 cash. I could probably get $175 for it from somebody with a mortgage. But I'm gonna live here for about 7 years, maybe. Turn it into, change some things around, move the washer and dryer upstairs. Stupid shit that'll be convenient for somebody and make it way more viable. And do that. Aside from,
it's funny that you mentioned that. I was just in one of my buddy's houses down in Kentucky while I was down there buying that car, and I saw for the first time. I don't think I'd ever seen it. I saw a laundry room on the third floor of this house, and I'm scratching my head, going, "What the hell? Like, why would anyone do that?" And he's like, "Think about it. Your clothes never leave the upstairs. It's right there. The bedrooms are all here. Boom, laundry, and back to the room." Like, and it dawned on me, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so."
It makes so much sense.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, it goes to reason that, people don't think about that. I see it all the time, especially with like I'm looking over building plans or we're doing construction projects to add on to something. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, this looks good." And I'm like, "Hey, that fan's like 6 inches from that wall. You think that's going to be a problem?" Like, and we're talking like large industrial fans, like not like 10-foot radius. I'm like, "Yeah, we're going to have to lock that out and move it." And they're like, "Move it?" Yeah, lock it out. But yeah, we'll get back to you on that moving thing. It's been like 4 months. I have yet to get an email back. So sometimes when you bring up things, people just dismiss them. Engineers aren't. We all know how they operate. Yeah. They're not the most attentive to real world problems. But yeah, that sounds like you got a pretty decent deal. I don't know. Like I said, if I sell this one and I get what I think I'm going to get out of it, I can probably pay off what little debt that I still have. I might even pay off that car I just bought. And then, I don't know. I'd be freed up there with a great credit score and, the ability to basically go do whatever I wanted. I keep having this feeling that probably like Dewey went through not long ago, where I feel like I could run my own business and do something. I just have no idea what I would do. Like, do I want it to be car related? Do I want to start my own pressure washing business? Like, I have no drive. So I guess I'm kind of hoping for like inspiration to hit me or something in the next couple of years before I fizzle out. But for now, I mean, if you'd have told me what I was doing now, 10 years ago, I wouldn't have believed you. I was just getting into the trades and learning all this. Well, I guess about 12 years ago. I was just switching up then to, where I've been for about the last decade now. I'm basically an office worker for the most part. I still go out and do some stuff, but that's really only when I choose to. So, if I pick up a wrench, it's because I want to, not because I need to. So, but like I have to train people. I'm like the electrical trainer. I do lift safety. I do all kinds of oddball stuff. So I still know all the rules and regulations and what's going on and how to do it. I'm not losing all of that knowledge, but like I used to program robots. I haven't seen a robot in almost 3 years. Like I can't really say on my resume that,
I know how to operate a Fanuc pendant.
Right. Yeah. Like I did 3 years ago, which in terms of technology is like, if you have 20-year-old equipment, I'm good. But if you have anything brand new, there's going to be a learning curve. So like, it's almost like crazy smart on my employer's behalf, because they got all these people with all this technical knowledge, but we're not really using it. I'm not saying we'll never use it in the future, but for right now, we're not using it. And the longer you stay here, you get kind of trapped. I mean, I'm learning some new skills, but if I was still a technician, I would literally be digging my own grave, because I'm just getting further and further away from real work. And then, if
You
I
get too comfortable.
got jobs, I'm basically relearning. Yeah, my curve's going to be quicker than say an apprentice, but I can't say I'm going to jump right in and fix your PLC. So it's weird. Like it goes back into that whole thing of like scared to jump, to make your own moves. Even now, like you can get locked into an employer. I mean, that's what people did back in the day. They got jobs and they just worked them for 30 plus years and never even really looked at the horizon to see if anything was out there.
Well, I'll tell you what I think's about to happen again. Is back in the day, a business would lure you in and lock you in. And they would do that by, oh, well, I see you're struggling financially, and you need a vehicle. Let me go buy you a vehicle. You show up to work, and we'll kind of make it work out. And that's starting to be more and more common now as company vehicles being given out, or you work from home and let me pay your internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so they're doing the odd little things. One of the things that Big Old Blue likes to do, which technically I'm still a contractor, so I'm not directly. I'm as close as you can get without being directly employed by them. I have more access than most people would even dream of, but I'm not official on their side. So I work for them. I don't work for them, I guess. But the thing that I've noticed is their compensation packages are lots of stock, and it's an insane amount. Like I mean, at the right levels. Once you're valuable enough, I guess, to be offered those kinds of things, but it's all stock. You can't touch it there's like a blackout period. I don't know what that is. It doesn't apply to me, but you don't if you get a bonus, it's not a cash bonus. You don't get paid out anything. It'll be stock. And so it's like that whole thing. It scares me like the 90s, right? Where people were rich on paper, but it never really came to fruition. If anything happens, if you get terminated, you leave,
you give it all back.
It all goes right back.
Yep.
If you haven't got through your grace period and cashed it out yourself or whatever. So, yeah, that's a real big, for me, I don't like that. I would much rather, I think, go the route of pay me directly and I'll figure out what to do with my money. I don't care if you're offering extra because that's still technically a hope and a dream, You might get this if you're a good boy or if you make it this long or don't leave or whatever. So I'm not going to say it's underhanded because I'm sure a lot of people make out like bandits, but it's got a lot of stipulations on it that I don't like. So your total compensation package looks amazing, but you're only really seeing, who knows, 80% of that or whatever in actual paycheck earnings, and the rest of it's in this void that you might see one day if you reach that level. So I don't like that. I know employers are doing more creative things, but that's one thing I've seen that I really don't like. I mean, I guess if it didn't have the stipulation, if you could cash it out quicker and it wasn't so bad, it might be, but 2 years, that's a long commitment for anything.
Yeah. Well, like my job, they do free health insurance for the employee. So you don't pay jack squat. Well, after 3 years, you get bumped up to the next tier of health insurance. And then at 5 years, you get bumped to the top of the line. And it's like they get you sucked in all this, but I mean, it boils down to even though you get all that, you still don't bring home that much. Because especially like I pay for my son and my wife's insurance. So my paycheck ain't squat, but
right.
It's the better of them. And I've been with this company for quite a few years now.
Yeah, I mean, but those are even, I mean, they may not be the best plans, but those are even light years better than what
Nothing.
most people get offered. Like ours right now, with the company that I'm with, I'm paying. God, I don't even know. It's probably a little over 100 a week or something. I mean, it's
Hmm.
in terms of like compared to the industrial factory I was working at before. Um, there, I think I was paying $25 a week or something. It was like it was a fraction of what I'm paying now. So when I came over here, at first it wasn't so bad. I was still married. I was using my then wife's insurance. Now that I'm divorced, I had to move over to my company's actual insurance, and it is horrible. You get a check or you get a bill for every little thing you do. They don't. It's almost like they don't cover anything. I mean, up until you reach your deductible, which is sky high. It's it's so bad that I don't like not go to the doctor, but I'd be a lot richer if I did. I mean, every little thing I do, if I take the kids to get a checkup, which is like preventative, and usually on most plans is 100% covered, I end up getting a bill for like $80 to $100. Like
Labs and stuff.
yeah, I throw money into like one of those tax savings somehow.
HSA.
Yeah, HSA. But I have that damn card around here. I don't even know how much is in there. I don't even know where to go to look up the balance. So I just hope that I'm putting in more than I'm spending at the current point in time, and hopefully it's building up. But yeah, insurance it's one of those things where I wish we would just buckle down and like do whatever we got to do to figure it out. Like I'm not saying free healthcare is possible. It's probably not impossible, but something has to be done because you hear all these other countries talking about what they got, Canada and this and that. And I think Junk and I have talked about this in the past, but it's not near as bad there to get a debilitating disease or to have something happen where you're put down for a long period of time. It's not nearly as financially draining as it can be here in the States. It seems like we're the last bastion of like medical debauchery where we just get charged $1 million for everything. It's crazy. I had a buddy who was buying his insulin from the pharmacy for his dog, and so that it was like a tenth of the price. And I was the same insulin, just in, they say it's for a pet, so somehow it's cheaper. But he was doing that. He would go and buy it there, and that's how he did it. I don't think he was like necessarily poor to where he couldn't afford it, but he just looked at the cost savings like, wait, are you kidding me?
It's the same stuff.
Yeah, I can just go, and you don't need a prescription or nothing. You just go to the pharmacy and say, yeah, I need this, whatever, I don't know, insulin, but this insulin for my dog. And they're like, okay, here you go, $20 or whatever. So, that's what he does. And when he told me about that, I thought it was crazy, but then I guess I never really knew how much insulin really cost. It's crazy. You need that shit to live. Like, and you guys are trying to turn a profit on it? Like, I mean, a huge profit on it? Like, come on now.
It's a money making racket. Like I've been sucked in a rabbit hole watching some movies. And the other day I watched War Dog. Or War Dogs. And then I watched The Patriot last night. And it's like, man, you start paying attention to that stuff and seeing what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how ironic is it that those get popped on Netflix right about now?
And the funny thing, I saw something, and my attention span's been zero lately as far as like world affairs. I mean, I hear things, but I don't really follow up too much. But I heard somebody was saying something about like Russia was like abandoning military vehicles, and like I guess they had like videos of like people going up to them, and they had uniforms and supplies in them. Like they made it sound like the Russian troops were abandoning their posts or something, like they were refusing to go in. But like, I know this sounds like conspiracy theory kind of ish, but I heard that, and as soon as I heard that, like they're abandoning stuff and they're leaving vehicles and supplies, and I'm like, that
Fishy.
don't sound right. It don't sound right. It sounds like some kind of setup. So then I was kind of wondering, like, I've seen some videos of like some planes and whatever most other people have seen. I haven't seen like any soldiers. I haven't seen anything like any large scale like gunfights or any. I'm not saying I want to, but I'm saying it seems real convenient. Like, how hard would it be to just be like, yeah, Russia's invading Ukraine, and yeah, look, here's a couple things going on. See, it's happening. Let's go invade Russia. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's like I said, it's the far side of crazy, but there's so much whack stuff going on out there.
Who knows what the truth is?
Well, yeah, who knows what the truth is? Because I mean, I haven't had my head in the sand, but I haven't heard of anything crazy coming out of Russia. I mean, the only thing I can remember in like the last few years is them claiming that they stole the election when Trump got elected or something, which, was an obvious lie, and they were just trying to justify why they lost or whatever. But, then they stole the election back. I mean, that's what we do over here. But, I even saw something else too. Like, it was right after the news broke out. And then they said something. It was some like article. I didn't even click on it, but they were somehow trying to blame Trump for Russia invading Ukraine, like it was his fault or something.
Yeah,
scratching my head, going. But the messed up thing is that some people see that and they go, "Oh yeah, that makes sense,"
and they believe it.
Sense. Yeah, like wait, what? No, like you don't see that. Okay, let's assume Russia's really invading Ukraine because they probably are. But you don't see that. How long ago did Biden get elected? He ain't even through his first year yet, right? Or it's right about there?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a year he's been in office. You think Putin would be invading the Ukraine with Trump in the office? Like, absolutely not, because Trump wouldn't put up with it.
He'd be like, all right, click.
Right? But he sees Biden and he's like, oh yeah, we got this. We're moving forward. We're gonna.
I will wait for that phone call. How much money is this going to take to get this go away?
Well, I'll tell you. Like, I hate the whole politics thing, but what I'm really afraid of is like Camilla or whatever her name is.
She vanished.
Well, she might have vanished, but I'm waiting for her to just be like, "Oh, I'm taking over." And then there's this chick running she could be a chick, whatever, but I think she's batshit crazy. And who knows what she'll do. I mean, she could be worse than all of them. You just don't know. And
I saw something earlier today. It was a darn tank, and supposedly it was in Russia. This tank come running down the road, saw a car, and just straight, like, veered off and ran plumb over this car. And it's like, evidently the person survived, but it's like, yeah, who knows? I mean, we don't know what's real and what's not real nowadays because they can make a movie blowing up a whole country. Just like that movie, Don't Look Up.
The CG is so good now. It's just crazy. And now I just saw like they made like the fake faces on videos or whatever. Like you can do those so well now. Like if you don't know what that person looks like, yeah, like you
makes some sense.
Fool, like what the fuck? And like you see them all over Facebook and like they put them out and like people are playing with them and whatnot. But that shit scares the fuck out of me. I mean, I say that.
And like you were saying, you don't see troops on the ground. I don't think we'll end up in a war where it's man-to-man combat like it used to be. We're in the day and age of chemical warfare, shutting power plants down, stuff like that is what I think like war will eventually end up being. for big countries.
So what Dano's saying in the chat actually runs back to I don't know if it was Brad, or maybe it was Neil. I think it was Neil said that it was over water, and that's what Dano's saying. He says Russia needs water and they don't have control of it, which makes sense because the Ukraine.
I mentioned that earlier.
They're probably. Oh, was it you?
Yeah, because and I can't remember if it was Ukraine that shut down the river flows, so they lost water and they were putting in pipelines. And I don't know, I've not like fact checked that, but I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, that's a major resource.
Well,
and if Russia's locked out of it, they're screwed.
Yeah, look at like Nestle. Like they said, like the next big thing was privatizing water, and I mean, that's a fair statement. Look at California and all the droughts. I just saw a thing where farmers were like complaining because I guess they're still like rationing out water. I guess I don't know. I'm not over there, but it's affecting them being able to grow crops and stuff. So it's like the farmers aren't getting water to grow crops needed to like feed people. It's not like they're probably making money, but they're not trying to get rich. They're running a business that actually like sustains people. But no, let's like keep building like all these sports cars and whatever else we're doing that we really don't need to do. We're just so focused on the wrong things,
I'll tell you something. This is something I come across a while back. Boy, I'm talking. China, back in the 90s, you remember when recycling got real big. There was like recycle your cans, your plastic bottles, and all that. Well, supposedly all that recycling was going to China to build up their middle class, and that's what
I 100% believe that, because
now that's being sourced to other countries. Even
the World Trade Centers, all the steel and the rubble from that got sent over there. I mean, and that's documented. Like before they even got to like run investigations on stuff. I was always kind of wondering about that because not far south to me, one of the cities has like pieces, some of the steel pieces supposedly from the Twin Towers, like in a monument, memorial, whatever you would call it. And I've been there and I've seen it. And I kind of looked at it and I'm like, I mean, I'm not saying it's not what they say it is, but I'm like, what? Like,
makes you scratch your head.
It just seems really weird to like have that forethought when you're shipping all this steel away that you're like, oh no, let's save some. We'll build memorials. Like, wait, what? I don't know. The whole thing seems weird to me. But yeah, they recycle it. We send everything to China. Everything comes from China, or the Eastern Hemisphere, if you want to put it that way. Like, we're so dependent on them, it's ridiculous. We don't make any cell phones. We don't make hardly any computer chips. We don't do anything. Like, look at the chip shortage.
Yeah.
Right? Just in cars alone. Like, let's not go into the other stuff. Just in cars alone, it nearly crippled the auto industry, and it only stopped flowing really heavily for a short period of time. Like, imagine what it would be like if they were just like, yeah, no, screw you. We're not going to send you anything.
Well, it's like the fuel, going back to that. It's like I've heard we've got 25, 30 years worth of crude oil. So is our tactics, let's milk everybody else dry and we'll sit on our stash?
Junk was saying earlier that, I mean, Canada's probably more than that. Like, and they're just, it's the government's tying it up, and that's why we source from places like Russia and the Middle East, is because number one, we don't want to use up our own reserves, but it's also our legislation that limits how much we can pull out, in a time period, or the way that we pull it out, like whatever fracking is and all that. So Yeah, I don't know. It's really interesting. Um, that I don't know. Like we either need to come the hell together as a planet, right, and figure that out, or draw our borders and put up fences and be like, okay, this is the way it is. Do the best you can. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know how rich America would be if we just focused on ourselves for like a decade.
Well, and I mentioned this in the chat earlier. Have you ever watched the movie Hunger Games?
Yeah.
You know how they each air, whatever you want to call it, state, providence, whatever. Each one had their key attributes to the whole, basically like country, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like something like that wouldn't surprise me to come about one day.
Oh no, no. I mean, they already kind of do it, right? I mean, I know Dan probably sees it a lot, like I don't want to call it class warfare because I don't think it's that bad, but you get looked down on. It doesn't even matter how much money you make now. Like Dan's, uh, you know, doing what he's doing now, sucking, you know,
Running
waste.
that Suajetta.
Yeah, and like you hear like some things you just talk about like, oh, I'm a garbage man, or oh, I'm this, and they've tried to like glamorize them, like, oh yeah, that janitor makes 100K a year, or that garbage man makes more than you with your bachelor's degree, and that may be the case, but it doesn't stop those people from looking down on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
these CC Lala kids running around nowadays, they ain't gonna do it. They'll just pay somebody. So why not be the guy that can charge a pretty penny to do it? That's why when I was looking to start a business, I have 4 like basic trades that I want to look at. And lawn care is so like small profit margin.
and
You
it
make your money in volume.
and it's saturated. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to start a landscaping business because they think it's easy.
But pressure washing is polar opposite. Yeah, there's some out there, they don't last because it takes 2 to 3 years to make a steady income, like phone call wise. But
Yeah,
you can go wash a house and make $1,000
yeah, and
and do it in an hour and a half.
that's one of the things I was telling somebody, and this might have been back when I was doing like heavy investing and stuff. But I said something to one of the guys. I was like, "How much do you make in a month?" And it was, however many thousands of dollars or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so cut that down by like 75%, right? You could take a 25% pay cut and still survive. You might not have everything, but you'd have enough. And that's what you would have to make to invest and live, or even to like do another job. If you can get most of your income in another form, you would be surprised. That's how all these OnlyFans chicks get so much money, right? They're getting like, it's the curves like this, right? They start it, maybe they promote, oh, I'm getting like $100 a month, whatever, $500 a month, then $6,000 a month, and then I'm not saying that's sustainable, but there for a while, these chicks are making like 25, 35K. They're making what some people make in a year in a month.
Well, I mean, you know who Whistling Diesel is?
Yeah.
Dude, his girl mentioned it is like, oh, we pull like some millions of dollars in the first week.
Oh, really?
Dude, they made a killing when she announced that.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she did. She did her own OnlyFans, and they racked up millions in the first week.
See, man, that's sad to me. I don't.
But I mean, what's the difference of that versus like I went to school with a chick. She went to be a stripper in Texas, and she's from Tennessee. She went there because she knew nobody. Come back, bought a house, and is living it up because it's all paid for.
Right.
If you're young and you can pull it off, go somewhere where nobody will know you.
Well, that's the problem with the internet. Well, I mean, I guess OnlyFans is kind of limited, but it's just, I don't know. It's ridiculous to me. I mean, I get it, but damn, You know, like these chicks are making tons of money. But then at the same time, women are talking about the pay gap and equal representation and all this stuff. And it's like, you show me a guy.
They
I
can
don't
pop
care
off.
if it's fucking Jason Momoa or what that could be like, hey, I'm gonna go on this website and I'm gonna start taking my clothes off and posting pictures and videos, and yeah, you're gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
What's he gonna make? Next to nothing.
Well, look who's been doing it that same scenario basically for shoot, I'm gonna call it 15 years. All right, you've got Xbox and PlayStation Live. They charge $20 a month. Okay,
Yeah.
think about that $20 a month and all the millions of people there is, and all that is just instant money. Yeah, it's a small percentage or like a small amount coming from each person, but it all adds up.
Oh, it's subscription nowadays. It's like
Yeah.
the whole thing. I was just looking at mine. I haven't made a YouTube video in over a year, right? But I still have TubeBuddy. It helps you
Yeah, I got it.
make
It's
your
a good
title.
setup.
Yeah, I like it, but I've been paying $4.50. I
But
guess.
you can get it for free.
Well, I add the paid version. It has supposedly more features, but yeah, I've been paying for that for over a year. Like, I mean, it's $50 or whatever, but you know, for nothing. For I'm not even using it. So, and Netflix just sent me an email and said they're raising me up to $20 a month if I want to keep their service. And I'm like, and that's what it is. It's nickel and diamond. You don't need to make a lot of money any one place. You need to have a few things even that you make just enough on, or you have just enough people throwing, you know, it's like one of those old things like somebody asked somebody for $1, like, you know, back in the day when people would actually do that stuff.
And nobody pays back.
Yeah, like how many dollars do you really need to get in a day? And so he was just like, well, I guess if I ask everyone for $1, and don't like bum, but like go around and be like, oh, hey,
Just
do
ask.
you have $1? Yeah, okay, cool, thanks. Oh, hey, do you have $1? Okay, yeah, thanks. I need a cup of coffee. I forgot my wallet. You're like, whatever, you got to tell them to get that $1. And then how many dollars do you need in a day?
Yep. They do that down 20 minutes from my house.
Right. I mean, it's nuts.
Well, look at the ones that irked me the most. My wife, I jumped her case. She had Planet Fitness, and she didn't have just like the basics. She had the black membership. She had it for 4.5 years since we was together, and only went probably a handful of times. So they was making that what $30 or whatever it is a month that whole time. And imagine how many people sign up at the beginning of the year. And their process of getting out of it, you can't do it on an app. You have to go there in person to do it.
Oh, well, I got a better one than that. My mom, this was way back in the 90s. Bally's Total Fitness was like really big, and they opened one up near us, and I don't know why. My mom's inherently skinny just by frame, but okay, we're gonna go get memberships, and she signed up for 2 for her and my dad or whatever, and it was like over a decade. It was over a decade, and I'm sitting there talking to her one day or whatever, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to cancel this damn Bally, da 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 da, and I got to write a letter and send it to this place, and it's got
Not like a darn timeshare."
Well, she's going into all this stuff she's got to do, and I'm just sitting there going, "You still have that? Like, how much is it?" And she's like, "Oh, it's only $25 a month for each subscription."
Times 12 times 25.
Yeah, like $50 a month for like a decade, and you've only gone a handful of times. Like, what the hell are you thinking? You know, I mean, I'll let myself get hit on a little here and there, but I don't let any big things like that run me. Even like with car insurance, I just bought this new car. I've been with the same company for like 8-10 years or whatever, and I got one of those scammy calls like, hey, we want to get you a quote for your insurance. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I just bought a new car. Like, yeah, like let's talk. And I already got the quote from my company. I knew what it was going to cost me. And so, like, they literally, it was like a almost $500 difference over a 6-month period. I got 2 car payments paid off just by looking into what another company could provide me. Like, I mean, it's crazy. Like, I just cut 2 car payments off of my annual thing, and I'm like, wait, at first I was like, wait, no, and I got better coverage than I had with the other company because it was like the hometown kind of insurance agent. So I switched up, like you can't walk away from that, knowing that you're throwing all this money out. It's just
throwing it at somebody.
Yeah.
Yep. It's wild.
So Dan, when are you gonna start the OnlyFans?
I'm gonna sign off, y'all.
Cucumber up my ass right now.
Somebody's got to prove me wrong and say that there probably are guys on there that make a lot of money. I don't know, but like, I don't know. Like the whole thing just kind of, I don't know. Like if it's like a stripper, like everyone's like, oh yeah, it'd be fun to date one until like you talk to anyone that's dated one and they're like, yeah, it's horrible. Like
it's all a show, man.
Well, it's just a bad idea, It's like, yeah, I got this really nice house in the hood. Yeah, don't worry about the bullet holes. It's real cheap. Like, wait, what? Am I ever gonna be able to sell this thing? It's a whole big mess, I think, and the world's spiraling. It'll be interesting to see where we end up in like 10 years because Brad was talking about his TikTok fame earlier. And like my kids are still awake out here doing God knows what. But the thing is, everybody's attention span is so short now. You can't make a 15-minute YouTube video anymore unless you are literally going step by step through something and it legitimately takes that long and you're giving tips all along the way. It's like TikTok, and it's these 10-minute short videos. Like that's what everybody's attention span has gone to. Even YouTube, they pulled the
ADHD.
The advertisement like max. Like it used to be to get like maximum advertising, it had to be a 10-minute video. I think they dropped that down to like 8. Just because even they noticed people weren't watching 10-minute videos anymore. Like people's attention spans are like that of a goldfish now. And my kids, I'm fighting it. They're all over the damn place.
Yep. Well, y'all, I'm gonna have to sign out. I got a kid to get to bed. He's got practice tomorrow and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut it off too. Dan, I appreciate you hanging out, and now you got bragging rights on everybody else because you hung out longer than them.
Good night, fuckers.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Take it easy.
Later, y'all. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.